Eric, it might have been the worst kept secret in college football, and it was that Jeff Brom was going to take over here at Western Kentucky. But Western Kentucky making it official.
I thought you were going to say that Bobby Petrino was leaving Western Kentucky.
That was the second worst
kept. Look, Jeff Brom, it was a great day for the Brom family, a great day for Western Kentucky. They didn't have to look very far to find their next head coach. In fact, Todd Stewart already had it in the back of his head when he started to read the tea leaves about Charlie Strong in Louisville, and he had no hesitation. They didn't interview anybody else. Well, they came into the game. I mean, before the game, teams were pushing and shoving, and they were in Louisville's heads the entire first half. Louisville's coaches said they had to get their team in the locker room before the game and settle them down to try and concentrate on football. Kentucky came out and they established themselves a little bit offensively, and if you look at what happened in the game, Boone Williams ran it well. The defense was a lot better than you thought it would be. They had 4 takeaways. They did everything that you need to do to win the games. They just couldn't in the end get any stops when they weren't getting turnovers. Now that the Preakness is over, we can turn the page because we have another shot at a Triple Crown winner. It's not been done in 36 years. There are good reasons for that, but one of the reasons, according to Steve Coburn, is that so many trainers are opting out of the Preakness to put fresh horses against the winner when they get to the Belmont. That's going to be the case this time. You're looking at 5 or 6 Derby horses who've been laying in wait, 2 of them trained by Todd Pletcher, and Coburn took a little shot at trainers who do that.
Now, WDRB's Eric Crawford joins us this morning to talk more about a change when it comes to wagering and the percentage that Churchill Downs takes.
Yeah, this is a big deal to bettors at Churchill Downs and all over the country, really. And what they've done, Churchill is taking off the top before giving money back. They're taking from 16 cents out of every dollar bet now to 17.5 cents. And where you'll really notice it is in your exotic wagering, the exactas and trifectas and superfectas. They're taking 22 cents. They used to take only 19. So that's a big cut. You know, it's a few cents, but you know, it adds up over the course of bets. Well, you know, Kentucky's a great offensive rebounding team. They rebound almost half the shots they miss and are able to get another shot.
They're so tall.
Louisville can't allow that to happen. They've got to figure out a way not to do that. And Louisville's got to make shots from the outside of it. Sometimes it just comes down to simply putting the ball in the basket, and they're going to have to make perimeter jump shots to be in this game, and they can do that. They haven't done it in their first couple of games in the tournament, but if there's skepticism about them, that's why they haven't quite done it yet in the tournament.
Nevertheless, he wasn't himself for most of the night.
No, he wasn't. He has plenty of excuses. His dad was there. He knew all the Manhattan players. They were double teaming him, but it was not his usual All-American effort. He was clearly frustrated, and it's got to be something, you know, if you're Rick Pitino, he was worried that he wasn't passing the ball too much one-on-one. At one point he said, "That's enough, no more." And then Russ turned on. Well, he's crazy, but he knew exactly what they needed to do in this game. They shot 48% in the second half. That's 12 percentage points higher than they shot in their last game. They win this by 15. Nobody's beaten St. Louis by 15 this season. Wichita State by only 5. Wisconsin by only 6. It looks pretty good when you just look at it on paper afterwards. Just 1 assist, to me, is the most amazing stat in the game. No assist in the second half, and really that assist, I think, came fairly early in the game. They played 30 minutes without an assist. They shot 26% for the game. If you have those kind of numbers and you're still within 8 at the end, I guess you feel pretty good if you should have this challenge again of playing Kentucky. He just had an epidural 10 days ago.
That's not a good sign for a golfer.
That's not really good coming into a PGA championship. Yeah. He feels bad about it. He wants to defend his championship. You have to feel bad for him, but I don't see any way how you can be that competitive given the amount of pain that he's been in. Yeah, and we've been dry for a while out here. The interesting thing was when Kenny Perry finished his round today, he told us the course isn't necessarily going to be better for those players playing in the drier conditions because there are little mud balls forming and getting on the ball. They're not allowed to pick up their ball or clean it or anything. So it's actually, it may get tougher as the day goes on. Getting the band back together. And I'll tell you what, this coaching staff has a challenge in front of it, though. Charlie Strong was a father figure to these guys. He was a very tight bond with these players. That's not Bobby Petrino's style. He's not a father figure in any way. So he mentioned today he wants to do some relationship building with these guys and kind of bond with this team as best he can, as quickly as he can, because as he said, there's a ton of work to do given the schedule that they're getting ready to take on in the fall.
Eric, you had mentioned earlier, a little surprised by the salary, $3.5 million per year for 7 years. The buyout, $10 million. That goes down after the 4th year. He was making $850,000 at Western Kentucky, so that is a pretty big jump.
It is a sizable jump. It's kind of a Rick Bozich-sized jump, I think. but I don't know. You know, I don't know what the reasoning is behind that. I think I think they wanted the job itself to carry the prestige it had before. That's the only explanation I can have for giving a salary that big.
Muhammad Ali's daughter calls it a pile of gold.
WDRB's Eric Crawford tonight explains how never-before-released recordings are bringing back the voice of the greatest.
Muhammad Ali has been the subject of enough books, movies, and media coverage to fill a museum, like the Muhammad Ali Center here in downtown Louisville. On Friday, a new contribution to that collection premieres, a documentary featuring an unlikely star, never before heard recordings of Ali's own voice.
I was the Concord of boxing. I was at a high altitude than the rest, moving faster than the rest, but you just have to get used to riding on jets again. You can't ride Concord.
The tapes belong to Ali's daughter, Hana Ali, who sat down with her sister, May Ali, to talk to me in an interview in New York last week. Tell me about the tapes, how they came to be used in this way.
When I heard them, I thought, wow, this is like, I was shuffling through a pile of gold, these little micro tape cassettes.
My sister Hana said to me, she goes, your daddy's kind of psychic. He kind of sees the future, but he's always been fascinated with history and time, and he was a man who was documented Golden Gloves in Louisville, Tomorrow's Champion. So he was able to see kind of the trajectory of his life, documented, and he wanted to do that also. He wanted to do it with his children, his parents, his friends, conversations.
George Foreman, how you doing?
Using interviews with people who had personal interaction with Ali, from Jim Brown to Ali's brother Rahman to Mike Tyson, the film portrays a more intimate side of the boxer. Gene Kilroy, a lifelong friend of the fighter and his longtime business partner, was instrumental in putting it together.
It's nice talking about him and giving the stories out that no one could ever know him. One time, I was like the closest person to him. Everybody, said, you were lucky to be there. I said, yeah, I am, Louisville, I'll always have a place in my heart down there. I remember when they named the street after him, and we went down there. He said, could you imagine Muhammad Ali Boulevard? Ali has long since stopped his public speaking, silenced by his struggle with Parkinson's syndrome. This film brings his voice back in a small way, and his daughters say, with them, there's still interaction.
His voice is not completely gone. The world doesn't hear it. In the mornings, I call my father, and you'd be surprised.
He'll say...
As the day progresses, sometimes, it gets harder. That's the way Parkinson's works. When he's in the morning, he's renewed.
A little clearer.
And you can hear him clearly. He talks just like this. How you doing? What's going on? You can hear him.
I was watching a documentary with him. I gave him a documentary about Sam Cooke. He loves Sam Cooke, and he's in the documentary. They're young and hot and all that, and he goes, ooh, your daddy was pretty.
Yeah.
He just said that to me last month, so we still get Muhammad Ali.
The film opens Friday in Louisville and select cities nationally, or on demand at cable TV and satellite providers and at iTunes. You can see full versions of my video interviews with Hana and May Ali and Gene Kilroy, plus read a review of the movie at WDRB.com.